Yon! And we're live again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers. Pero syempre, happy birthday, Christina. Episode number 71 tayo. And syempre, ang topic natin ngayon, very, very important to. Okay? Sobrang important sa atin lahat to. Kasi syempre, activity. Di ba? So, ang topic natin ngayon, effective personal goal setting. Syempre, my name is Ken Somera and ang main host natin, Cristina Reclamado. Hi, Chris. Happy birthday. Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
So it's my birthday. Wow. I feel like I'm in my 30s. So I'm celebrating my 47th birthday. And of course, okay, I actually slept the whole day. Yay. Okay, so I had a relaxing day. And thank you for all your greetings. Okay, so today we invited a special guest. Okay, he's also a neighbor of mine, and it's his second time here in HR Shouts. So, without further ado, we have Mr. Kirby Llaban. Okay, so he's an author, motivational speaker, and trainer, and he came up with these books. Okay, so his first book was The Fired Up Life, and then his second book, and it came out September 2021, this one. And we will be giving away two of these books to the first two people who will be posting a question or comment. So, Mr. Kirby Liaban,
Hello,
hi.
Chris. Hello, Chris. Happy birthday. And hello, Ken. Thanks for having me back here. As usual, excited ako to have conversations with you. Always learn a lot from HR Shouts and Whispers. It comes out in my feed, and a lot of people are blessed because of this. So thanks for having me.
And thank you to Kirby. Okay, so we also learn a lot from you. I also watch your weekly blogs. Okay, so I watch that, and I also read your books. Yun.
Awesome,
So,
awesome.
mhm. And by the way, okay, so let's talk about your book muna. Okay, baka makalimutan natin. So let's see. So, what is the inspiration for this new book?
Yeah, because my first book, The Fired Up Life, this one, these are for the readers. These are for the people who have the time to really sit down, read 1 hour a day, and develop themselves personally. But there are more people out there who don't really have the time to read. In fact, they're not readers. So I made that book for those who just have 2 minutes a day. After they take a bath, maybe they have coffee and read 365 fired up days for 2 minutes, and they get ideas. So it's like a compact, shall we say, compacted wisdom somehow, from the things that I've learned in at work and in life in general. So this is like some would call it like a one buyer called it an espresso shot of motivation. So that's how I would best describe that book, 365 Fired Up Days. And it's something to accompany someone who's working and struggling to motivate themselves for work, because it's really hard, Chris. We have dreams, we have goals in life, but the pursuit, the struggle, the hustle, it's not easy. We all know that, right? So we
So,
need we need daily motivation. Yeah.
So during 2020, okay, so I'm sure that you've been around also and you've received a lot of messages. So what kinds of struggles were people asking you for advice?
Yeah, because people suddenly got lost because all their plans for 2020, oh man, they all changed. Whatever you planned in 2019, then March 2020 happened, the pandemic happened, and they were just asking, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna pivot my career, my business? Some of them lost their jobs. A lot of them, totally their businesses got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, especially, I'm in the training industry, and I live for being going there to companies and gathering people and inspiring them face to face.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I do it. And in fact, I was supposed to have a trip abroad in the Middle East because of my book, right? And those got canceled, and I myself experienced that kind of setback because of the pandemic. So I felt that I struggled with it, and the people were also resonating with it. So whatever I posted in 365 fired up days, it comes from a place where I have struggled myself, and I have tried to make solutions for my life. And that's why, the inputs that I have there as actually I post them on Facebook. It's like
Mm-hmm.
three paragraphs of like a mini blog, and suddenly, oh man, like 10,000 shares, 1,000 shares. Why do people share these things? Because probably there was something there that I wrote that hit, that hit the nail.
Well,
So yeah, they're messaging how I'm gonna pivot, how am I gonna overcome,
mm-hmm.
for example, doubts, fears,
Mm-hmm.
these things, right?
Yes, and actually, I was like reading your book when I invited you, and then I actually liked it. It was like very insightful. In fact, I have like my favorite part here was, well, of course, madami siya, pero like pursue an exciting vision. Okay, so that was what I like, because if you don't have a very good vision and you don't have something that matches your lifestyle or who you are, your personality, okay, so hindi siya, that's not going to be a good foundation. Kasi you have to have some a glimpse of the future, what kung ano yung inaambisyon mo, di ba?
That's right.
And then you form your goals according to it. So that was like this day 111. So
Yeah.
so
So yeah,
mm-hmm.
I see two kinds of people who really have visions for their lives, right? The first one is the employee who has a vision for the family, right? So it doesn't matter what they go through, what difficult work they go through, what they do for their bosses. Basta at the end of the day, they're able to fulfill that vision that they have for their families, and that motivates them. And I think that's what gives some a lot of people the imperative to even go outside the country and pursue a career even far from their families, because they have that vision for their family and it excites them. Now, it excites them, although it's painful and difficult. The other type of person that would have an exciting vision is to really have like a something totally connected to what they're doing. And I think I fall in that second category, that I want what I do to be aligned to my key strengths, my passions, my purpose, and everything that I believe God has given me to be applied totally at work. And that vision, is seen in my daily action and it's in my daily work. So and when whatever is exciting to you, it's relative, right? It's
Yes.
different for each one. No, you can't say that, hey, your vision is not so exciting. You can't tell that to a person because it's something that he feels personally about. But I think what people are kind of lost is they don't have a vision, right? So before even
Yes.
arriving to an exciting vision, they don't have a vision. They just like go with the flow, and the 2021's just gonna pass by, and after a couple of years, you look back to your life and said, did I really live at all? No, did I really live at all?
Yes, because I think that why that passage, okay, or what that page, why that page really parang I found that very parang on point, kasi with what I was going through, kasi well, most of the time, okay, parang there are people who actually parang just follow other people. Okay, so they become, kasi ngayon, ano iba-iba na yung mga tao, di ba? But what I notice is when the pandemic hit, so nasira nga yung plano mo. So suddenly, you cannot rely on your employer. Kasi nga, yung employer mo was also experiencing problems financially. And they might close down, okay? So, importante, ikaw mismo, as a person, you have your own vision of what you want to become. 'Di ba? Kasi kung hindi, nobody can tell you that ikaw lang ang makakasagot nun
That's right. And even a simple vision of your desires and your personal your personal goals, and like we were talking about goals here more about later, but it really boils down to how do you see yourself, what we only live once, and what kind of life are you gonna live. So yeah, that vision, and if that vision is written down, okay, we a lot of people have visions, but they don't have time to write them down. And though in as if you don't write them down, then things are not clear. Things are not going to be crystal for you, right?
So it's like a format. There's a format to it. Because your first book also outlined the steps. But can we give them like a sample structure or a sentence, Kirby? How can you state your vision so
Yeah.
that you can write it down?
Uh, for example, for me, it's gonna be lofty for me because
Mm.
I want to follow a vision that's inexhaustible in a sense that, parang it's a direction, but it does not necessarily mean that you're gonna reach it, right, in your lifetime. So that can be a form of a vision. For example, in the organizations that I belong to, let's pick one. The closest to me is Couples for Christ. Families in the Holy Spirit renewing the face of the earth. That's from a religious perspective. No? So it's like they're not gonna stop with their mission until they reach all countries in the world, bringing whatever message that they're bringing to the rest of the world. So it's lofty. I would die not seeing that vision. I was part also of Gawad Kalinga, no, and it's a simple statement: no more slums, right? And for no more slums in the Philippines, maybe I'll reach 90 and there will still be slums. But it's a direction that you want to work towards to, right? And for us personally, it would be something like, for me, it's a fired up society. you know,
Mm.
for me, it's a fired up society. I wrote that in my book. And a fired up society are people realizing their potential, living out their potential, and taking action to be able to make the most out of their God given talents. And that's why I continue to go live. Actually, Chris, my live show is Monday to Friday at 3 p.m. So it's not a weekly show. So I have that energy because
Okay.
the more I do it, the more I can convince people to become fired up, not to give up, but to become fired up. So yeah.
Yes. So it's also like the same with me because as you know, so lahat talaga na ano na well, lahat na talagang nagulo ng pandemic. So it was a point, okay, on my part kasi as you know, I do help a lot of OFWs. Okay, so they get my services because I help them pass a certain exam. It's the IELTS exam. So it's the International Test of English. So and then yung Pearson Test of English, which is you need for your embassy. You need to be able to get it, to pass it or reach a certain level because you need to. It's one of the requirements of embassies to work in their country. So that's why when I was good at this, so I was for 2021 or for this is the way I'm going to help OFWs. Parang ganun lang yung vision ko. And then, of course, for HR Shouts, okay, we have, I mean, for 2021, so I told my team, we will celebrate Filipino experts and thought leaders. So by supporting their products, such as yung books nyo, yung e-books nyo. So that's our vision for 2021. And we wrote it down and we articulated it. So for people who are watching us right now, it's better to think maybe like if you're having coffee, 'di ba? Nakatunganga kayo, yung tunganga moment, it's better to meditate and then maybe really ask yourself what you envision yourself doing in the long run. And it's exciting to keep you motivated. Just like Kirby. Si Kirby nga, yun nga yung nakikita ko. I'm sorry that I thought it was weekly, but it's Monday to Friday pala.
Yeah, it's something that I want to show up for because in the pandemic, I had that itch because I keep on giving talks to organizations, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and the pandemic took that away from me,
I
and I
see.
said, "Oh man, I'm gonna like outdo what I was used to doing in the normal day." So that's how I responded to the pandemic. It's like not to tone it down, but to even hype it more up. So I did it from Monday to Friday, and I'm just so glad I got an increase of clientele in a sense, and also followers. I was not envisioning followers before, but more of clientele. But the pandemic just brought me to that plane. Surprisingly, people from the Middle East. That's like most of of my viewers, Filipinos who are from there and from the UK and some from the Philippines. So ano siya, I did realize that as well. So yeah, that vision to become more present online was part of what I was foreseeing for myself.
Yes, and so we're happy that there are a lot of Filipino experts and authorities like you who are doing this and who are also supporting our endeavors, Kirby. So thank you.
Awesome. I love what you're doing here, Chris.
And then so later on, one of our moderators will be joining us. Okay, so I'll just also ask you. So this motivation is rooted into an exciting vision, diba? So that's how you keep motivated. So, but the creativity, Kirby, like this is like for entrepreneurs, artists, and other people that rely on being innovative. So, do you continue to be creative? Where do you get your ideas?
You know what? I take it one day at a time because right now I'm on my 191st episode. And can you like, I couldn't imagine thinking of 191 titles for my show. Or I already wrote like 400 blog posts. At day one, you cannot think that you could make that much, right? So I take it one day at a time, and I believe that the day has its own wisdom. Like tomorrow we wake up and that day tomorrow has like a wisdom. Why? Because each day has a different experience. Like it's a like combination of different experiences. Yes, we wake up from our beds and go to our work. It sounds like routine, but the way we do work is different. The way we communicate with people, it's different from yesterday. And if you like just read between the lines and contemplate on it a bit, there is that wisdom. So there are, I call it triggers. A trigger, something that will trigger you that day, a word or a phrase or an experience, and it can become content if you are in the writing part or industry. It can become an idea if you're a businessman. That suddenly this person needs a type of service. For example, Chris, I suggested to an entrepreneur this type of service. You know, we folks, we do a lot of live shows, like you do a lot of
Mhm.
live shows. But how wish there was this group that just cuts the snippets out of our live shows and repurposes all of those conversations that contain a lot of wisdom and just blasts it off
Mhm.
throughout social media, like Gary Vaynerchuk does, right? If you know
Mhm.
him, if you follow him. And how I wish like an agency can do that and it's affordable. And suddenly this entrepreneur said, "Why not? She loves editing. She's a blogger. She's and she's just excited to do that." So that piece of wisdom, that piece of idea, just came from a certain experience.
Anyway, I'd like to just welcome. Okay, so Bench, it's okay if you don't have a video. So anyway, I'll just yan, ay, nasa na siya? Okay.
Static
Anyway,
picture.
okay. So Bench is here. He's one of our moderators. Okay, so did you want to add into the discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to encourage everybody who is viewing right now, or those who are not yet viewing, please join in. Magandang topic ito because I believe there's never been a better time to set goals and create a vision. Lalo na this is the beginning of the decade. So just to add in my own insights on visions and goals, it is important to have a definition of how do you see your 2021. We've seen the 2019 and the rest of the 2010s, and then we've seen how the 2020s or 2020 has had a bad start, and then it ended. Somehow there is that Star Wars thing, like a new hope for 2021. But don't just stop there. January pa lang to, mag-set na kayo ng goals and visions nyo for 2021?
Yes, it's better to have naman kasi talaga your set of goals kasi at least you know how to, well, it's corny and it's cliche, how to measure if you were successful or you achieved something. Yun. Ken, did you want to add something to the discussion?
Wala kalokohan lang nasa isip. Sabi ko,
Teka,
nasa isip ko ngayon parang, well, importante nga yung planning, goal setting ya. Pero syempre, if you have direction, importante.
may tatanong ako, you were saying, ano nga yung book na isusulat mo?
Ah, yung productivity para sa mga tamad na sinulat ng tamad na kagaya ko. So syempre, yun parang ano ba, productivity. Syempre ako, I mean, I got to do a lot of stuff then, and I do acknowledge na I get to be lazy at most. Pero syempre, what gets me to actually do the stuff that I need to do? Syempre, I have to work with, 'di ba? Certain planning, what do I need to do to take action? So parang yun yung concept ko. Parang yun lang. Tamad para
Ah,
sa tamad, di ba? Ayan.
tanongin natin si Kirby, okay? So, may benefits ba ang pagiging tamad?
Well, for those who would even label themselves as lazy, they can also be smart, no? Kasi
Mm,
they will find ways to make things easier. So
yes.
usually those who are a bit lazy are really good there. But what if you were smart and hardworking? You can also see the benefit there. So yeah, I would always say yung masipag ay minsan nadadaig nila din ng matalino. So yeah, so you see that you were in class, you have a genius classmate who's like he's good in the head, but may masipag din aral ng aral, and he gets to be top in the class too. But it's really, I see that it's relative, it's a case to case basis, but I'd go for hardworking and smart. But if you're smart and lazy, maybe you can be strong in the innovative part. Yung mga innovative thinkers, those are the ones who really find a way to make things easier. So yeah, it's all good. There's benefit in everything.
Well, a mentor once told me, kasi I had a mentor, I won't say the name, kasi sabi niya, tamad siya. So that's why he's OC with procedures. Okay, because yun yung ano niya, iniisip niya, kasi he likes to break down certain processes into procedures. Kasi gusto niya makita kung ano yung fastest way to do something with less effort. Kasi nga tamad daw siya na tao. So that can be a benefit. So it's about working smart. Okay, so but I think what we're trying to drive here is about consistency. Di ba Ken, when we did HR Shouts, we just wanted a goal. And our goal was just to come up with an FB Live every week. Okay, so consistent yun.
As much as
Okay,
possible, yeah, yun. Every week, kung hindi man matuloy yung Wednesday, for sure, there's a Friday, there's a Saturday, or even a Sunday.
yes.
Basta matuloy, yeah.
So ganun lang yung goal namin, that just to have one, and then it's either related to some topic na hot topic, or a person that can, an expert na who wants to talk about a certain issue, an authority about an issue. Yun. So kasi right now, okay, we found that syempre yun nga yung mga tao, they don't, budgets are limited, and then you can't buy a lot of books naman kasi limited na nga yung budget. So we are just trying to bring this set of knowledge, a body of knowledge, closer to people. So that's just what we aim to do. And honestly, kasi the last time that we talked, Kirby, was last year, we were at the level of 1,000 lang members. Ngayon, nasa 5,700 na tayo.
That's awesome.
Yun. So, hi guys. Okay, so, kaya it was like really, so you can see the development after 1 year. So, naging, talagang triple pa, di ba? So, just consistency. So hindi ka hindi ka dapat lang mag-aspire na maging matalino kasi okay lang naman yan na average tayo, okay? But you just have to be consistent at what you do.
And I think Chris, it thinking of better ways to do things is hard work as well. Right?
Yes.
It's masakit sa brain yan, diba? So a lot of people would think they're lazy, but actually they're really hardworking. They think really hard. So I think it's harder actually. It's harder. It's more difficult to think of easier ways. To make things simple is the hardest thing to do.
Okay, Ken and Benj and Kirby, I'll just pause a while. So I'll acknowledge, okay, two people who will be getting the book.
Yun, no?
Okay, because actually, okay, this first person, 5 minutes before we went live, nakaabang na siya. Okay, in fact,
Yun.
she mentioned me. Okay, so this one, Jean Marie Ogayon Halubakib. Okay, so you will be getting a free book. So just PM me your address. Okay, we'll try to send it to you by Wednesday next week. And then let me see. Well, he is using a name here, JQ. Okay, so he said that I would like to get a free book and then gave the email. So, hi. So, you will also be getting a free book. Oh, ayan.
Yun. Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations to the two of you. Just PM me
Jan,
your address.
Jan. I think it's Jan and JQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
JQ.
Puro J.
Congratulations.
Alam mo, ito na naman ako sa J. Alam mo, don't you know that most of my trainees, their names start with J.
Oh, sila Jehan. Di ba?
Oh, Jehan, J. Hindi ko alam what's with the J. Meron pang isa. Basta lahat, I have like, most of my trainees, tapos yung jelly, iba-ibang spelling ng jelly. So I think people named J are attracted to me. Okay. So, okay, guys, just PM me your addresses and we'll ship it to you wherever you are in the Philippines. Okay? Within the Philippines ang offer natin, no? Okay, so we'll go to Kirby. So Kirby is married to a good friend of mine, si Michelle. Okay, so nakita ko yung picture mo doon. Nag-post siya isang araw. Okay, kasi kaya siya ginaganahan kasi maganda daw yung kasama niya sa bahay. So, so for couples, Kirby, so how do you keep the fire burning?
Oh, suddenly it becomes like a relationship goals. Suddenly it becomes relationship goals, right?
Malapit na kasi yung Valentine's.
Yeah, I think relationships are at the heart of why we work. You know, we work hard, you know, in our businesses, being an employee or an employer, because we want to keep the home really strong, right? And what a lot of people sometimes do is, you know, they work so hard, and you know, we have a hard time putting the home in order, and it starts with the relationship with couples. And I guess for me, first is to really have time to listen to one another. That's the first thing. Listen, not to interrupt, but listen to really understand. Because sometimes, you know, we listen to so that we will have something to reply. You know, so we have to listen to understand. You know? So I think when your partner, you know, knows that you understand him or her, hindi na kailangan magsigawan. And the reason why people shout at each other is that they're not communicating. They're just like trying to make their point. That's why people shout at each other, right? And if there's listening, and you know, you're like confident and secure with that. Second, I guess, is to really always rekindle the relationship. Syempre, pag matagal na mag-asawa, 14 years na rin kami, no? And there's gotta be having you have like a special type of date, right? At least if not every week, at least a special date twice a month. Something that is you can call a date. Even in the pandemic time, no? So kailangan a little innovation doon na sa balcony, you know, a little budget date, no? But things can really go busy, and a lot of times these dates are the ones that get sacrificed. So,
Bakit
you
ka
know,
nag-blush, Kirby?
oh, of
Nag-blush
course.
ka.
Ano yan eh, special person. The love of my life, syempre, yan yung pag-uusapan namin. So, but now that you mentioned that, I have to really work doubly hard pa, di ba? To keep that fire burning. Kasi fired up nga, di ba? So, hindi lang sa trabaho but also in the relationship. So as they say, love is a verb. No, it's not like something you just define. So it's you have to take action. You have to be proactive in keeping that relationship happening.
So we have a question here. So we'll go back to goal setting. Okay, but yes, the reason I asked about couples, okay, because of course if your house has to be in order, or your home has to be, well, it has to be have a certain atmosphere, a positive atmosphere as well, so that of course this can support having you have that motivation, okay, to go at your goals. Okay, so there's a question here by Miss Angelique, and she said that she has attended a lot of webinars on vision boarding. So do vision boards help?
Yeah, anything that's visual can really guide you, excite you, because especially if you're the one who made those cuttings or however you want your vision board. The vision board is not the problem. It's the action, the action and the planning to get to that vision. Vision boards are exciting, right? For me, I do vision statement. As I like the words. I like to see myself in the words, like a 3-year vision, those things. So I make a poster out of that and I put it somewhere in the home where I can see it
Mhm.
every day. So whether it's words or pictures, and you call it creative tension. You
Mhm.
see something, and because you see that dream car, you're thinking about your decisions right now. Is my decision today gonna bring me that dream car or not? Is my involvement in this new company gonna bring me to that dream car or not, or to that dream place or a vacation or something, or that figure that you wrote in your check that you will claim 10 years from now, right? So something like that. It's important to have that vision board. It works. It works. I believe it works, but it will work if you take action, really.
So vision boarding and action, they go hand in hand. So Ken, what can you say?
Uh, Very important yan eh. I get to hear, syempre, through the years, di ba? Sa dami ng mga na-attend natin and friends natin, we get to hear law of attraction, vision boards, di ba? Positive
Mhm.
thing. Pero at the end of the day, actions lead to results. Basically it, di ba? So ngayon, the question that we as coaches ask our coachees or mentees is very specific. What has to happen for this action to happen? Diba? So
Mhm.
ngayon, nabe-breakdown ngayon. Minsan kasi, here's the thing eh. We get to see that most people that we work with, or our friends, of course, family members, meron yan mga parang, hindi ko naman sinasabi kaagad na limiting beliefs. Sabihin na natin a set of conditions for something to happen. For example, meron tayong mga, kuwari, ibang friends ko na nasa freelancing communities. Teka lang, medyo mahirap magtrabaho kasi mabagal yung laptop ko eh. 'Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, nakaset na yung utak nila na meron condition na if nagkaroon sila ng bagong laptop, mas bibilis yung trabaho. Right? So
Mhm.
ngayon, ang tanong dito, ang tinitingnan ko rin minsan is, tinatanong ko, what has to happen for this action to happen? Para lumalabas lahat ng preset conditions ng mga tao. Para okay.
Mhm.
So ngayon, I'll use that, parang pwede mo i-blackmail 'yun eh minsan sa coach, sa akin sa coaching ginagawa ko. Pwede ko i-blackmail 'yun eh. Okay. So if you get this, for sure mangyayari tong action na to. Pag sinabi nilang yes, I could call that out. Mas
Mhm.
malaki yung chance na maggawa niya kaagad yung action.
I see. So thanks, Ken. So
Sige.
how about Kirby? So can you tell our viewers what are the steps in personal goal setting?
Yeah, I prepared like 3 steps, Chris.
Mhm.
So easy to remember. I actually listed it down. Like first is strive for balanced goals. Okay, strive for balanced goals. And when I say balanced goals, our tendency is to just make goals for work because that's what brings the money in, right? So when you say balance goals, at least the three areas: health, wealth, and relationships. So you have your work goals, which is connected to your wealth, the wealth that you're trying to
Mhm.
build. Your relationship goals, which is what we talked about earlier, what we do at home and our families and our love life, kung meron ban. No? And
Love
so
life is important.
yeah, it can be friendships as well, not
Yes.
necessarily a romantic connection. And of course, the health that we have is usually the one that also gets sacrificed. Kulang sa tulog and a lack of exercise, a lack of nutritious food. The recovery foods, as we say, are usually not nutritious. So yeah, that's the first step. Strive for balanced goals: health, wealth, and relationship. And uh, that if I can proceed with the second one, if you want, Chris.
Yes. Yes, please.
The second goal that I could think of, step would be set realistic but exciting goals. Set realistic but exciting goals. Realistic goals, yeah, usually kasi mga unrealistic goals, mga exciting siya. But you have to find that mid ground. No? So realistic
Mhm.
siya, pero exciting. So let's just say to lose, let's talk about health goals. To lose 20 pounds in the next 2 months, so I could look like blank, so something like that.
Yes. Wag
Like
naman
that.
50 pounds.
Yeah, wag naman, So,
Uh,
okay, 20 pounds in the next 2 months, perhaps, yeah, it can be realistic, but 20 pounds in the next 2 weeks is something like of a suicide, right?
mhm.
So, I think realistic is good. No? And I read somewhere, and I believe this adage, they say like there is no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic timelines. Okay,
Mm.
so you have a big goal, man, wag namang 1 month. Tingnan mo
Oo.
naman in a perspective of 5 years, something like that, or 3 years. If that goal is too big. So the bigger the goal, the more time you need to accomplish that. And if you can find the point where the goal matches the timeline, and I think that's a winner. And how you just word it to make it exciting. Dapat yung goal leads you to wake up in the morning. Diba? That goal
Mm-mm.
makes you excited, hindi ka tatamarin because you're
Mm-mm.
just so looking forward to achieving it, right? So that's the second one. And the third thing I can think about is list down important decisions based on these goals. Ken was talking about action. Ken was talking about execution, right? And decisions, that's what makes the action happen. You know, masarap mag-goal setting. No? Ang sarap. Punta ka sa
Mm-mm.
coffee shop, naka-mask ka pa and everything. Punta ka doon, basa ka ng inspiring book, na set ka, tapos daydreaming ka, you write that, you have a vision board or something, right? And put the goals. But the question is, what decisions are you going to make that goal happen? If it's a health goal, what food are you going to stop eating? If it's a work goal, what companies are you going to start to apply, or are you going to actually start to take that IELTS exam to move
Mm.
forward with your application? Okay, are you going to invest 9 to 10,000 pesos for the IELTS exam? So things like those decisions are at the heart of it. And if it's a wealth, health, and relationships, right? So if it's a relationship goal, what will you sacrifice with your work so that you can have more time for your children? Right? So, for example, kami Chris, we decided to do homeschooling for our kids, and that was a
Mm.
big decision because the time is important for us, right? So, yeah, it's about making big decisions na nakakatakot, but
Mm-mm.
these big decisions that are kind of scary. If it's aligned to your personal values, then you're making the right decision.
Well, if I may just insert an adjective, kasi right now, since things are limited and then, of course, nakakatakot lumabas, we have to be more purposive with our decisions so that hindi tayo, dati kasi I think we had, we had a lot of choices. Pero this situation that we were thrust in, parang nalimit tayo, di ba? So, hindi tayo afford maging kalat. So yes, I've heard of a lot of families. Okay, so they resorted to homeschooling so that that the household will be more manageable. So yon. So naririnig ko yan, Kirby. And then also, I was going to say that with realistic and exciting goals, dapat ano siya, yung there's a balance, okay? Like it's ambitious enough, okay, and yet it's attainable.
Yeah. And you hear this big, hairy, audacious goals that we read from Jim Collins, right? And
Yes,
exciting, man. Like, what's your BHAG for? But BHAG can also come in 5 years, in 3 years. So it's not that you're trying to play it safe. I'm not saying that. I think it's important to feel that you are also winning. See, there's these milestones that happen in your life, and if you've attained this income stream for the month because of your entrepreneurship decision, or in your freelancing, if you've attained that, and wow, ganito na ako, 5 figures na ako, or 6 figures na ako, and it's something to celebrate, right? And you're not a millionaire yet, but you're not also unsatisfied and discontented, frustrated, depressed, and down. You see, so
yes,
you're happy in your pursuit, and that's what I always tell a lot of people that I coach. Yes, the dream is there, the goal is there, but if you're unhappy reaching it, 90% of the way you're not living your life. You're just suffering. Okay, so the pursuit, you have to find happiness in the pursuit. Doing it, the hustle, the struggle, that's where you should be the happiest, because you made a decision to do these things. And it's not easy, but you're getting there. You're doing it each and every day.
so parang let's illustrate that, okay? Like if for example, the simplest kasi to illustrate is, for example, no, you want to lose 30 pounds ka agad. Okay, tapos hindi ka na kumakain, o di ba? Kinakain mo na lang biscuit, tubig, ganyan. So that's not how to do it. But you can still lose the same amount of weight, longer time nga lang, but makita mo you're relaxed, you're healthy, and then you're not having all these other health problems, 'di ba? So ganun lang yung sinasabi ni Kirby. It's a balance pa rin.
Yeah, and I think it's about how we grow in interpreting the goals that we set. Because,
Mhm.
for example, you lose 30 pounds. Man, I've been there. I lost 60 pounds. And when I lost 60 pounds, Chris, I
Mm.
started to gain it back. So yeah, when I reached my goal, then what? Right? So my goal should have been a healthier lifestyle. It should
Yes.
have been not like a crash diet of sorts, that just to reach a goal, just to attain it. Right? So I guess it's writing better goals. It's a skill. You don't have to perfect it right away. You realize things along the way. So yeah.
And then it's like you're constantly reflecting and meditating, 'di ba? Kasi ikaw lang naman ang makakaalam if you're successful at it or not. There's
That's
no
right.
there's no scorecard, okay? Parang ikaw lang naman.
Oh,
Okay.
talking about scorecards, it's
Mm.
also important to, of course, have a measurement for your goals.
Mm.
Not that you're trying to impress people and have a scorecard publicly and stuff, right? Some people do that though, but to be publicly accountable. But I think measurements are important. They say you can't manage what you can't measure. So even in the most qualitative things, it
Mm.
needs some sort of a measuring device.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but what I think I'm getting, what you're also saying is that you live your life, live a happy life, and not also be a gold slave, in a sense that you're just so unhappy because you're trying to attain this certain thing, which
Okay.
is actually anathema to reaching goals. Because the goals is supposed to make you happy, and suddenly you're there, you're so depressed and sad.
And then did you have a third step?
Yeah, the third step, as I mentioned, was about making decisions. So list
Mm.
down the decisions that relate to that goal. For example, if you do decide to go into business this year, so you have to like make a decision to register your business. For example, that. So a lot of entrepreneurs just go on business. Sige, tuloy lang, benta-benta lang tayo online, etc. And, then suddenly a big client comes in and says, hey, can I get a bulk of your products, but we need a receipt. Then suddenly, oh man, I can't produce that because I'm not registered. You lose it. So I think part of, making that decision is to actually make that one. So list down those decisions. I would simplify goals this way in Tagalog. Ano ang gusto mong mangyari? If you Tagalize, or well, if you speak in the local language, ano ang gusto mong mangyari sa buhay mo sa 2021? So you can list those things down, right? Tapos the tactics or the strategies would come in. Paano mo siya gagawin? Paano siya mangyayari? Tapos ano ang gagawin mo para mangyayari sila? At kailan mangyayari? No, I think, I love this because we were given a template in the community that I serve in Couples for Christ. In CFC, it's so interesting because these are people who are actually top-level managers in multinational companies, and they're so just humble, sharing their insights and techniques, applied it to our community, right? And what they did was they made a Tagalog interpretation of vision, mission, goals, strategy. So when people apply it down the line, they totally get it. And I think if you simplify personal goal setting, you just have to ask your question, the question to yourself, ano ang gusto kong mangyayari sa aking buhay this year?
So you mentioned that, yung mga i-Filipinize, itagalog natin. Kasi nga, a lot of people, they read all those highfalutin books in English, okay? And then, parang nag-float lang yung words, okay? Hindi talaga nila na-internalize yung meaning. And then, there are people like you, okay? When you talk, parang they get it na kasi you make it more relatable. So, yun. As in, kaya importante na naintindihan natin na first is, ano yung mangyayari, ano yung gusto mo mangyari. Minsan kasi pag tinanong mo yan, parang di ba? Parang matataken aback ka. Ano gusto mo mangyari sa buhay mo? Diba? Pero you have to ask yourself that question, diba? Tapos ano-ano ang mga markers mo, okay, na successful ka for 2021, okay? And then kasama na doon yung timeline mo, okay? Like in 2 months time, in 3 months time, etc. So yun yung personal goal setting steps. And you can apply this in your business also. Kasi
that's right.
yes, because you have to attain a certain level of income to keep the operations running.
That's right. And it's all about context, really. It's about understanding the background of what's happening, the situation of the environment, the things that limit you in your current situation, and the opportunities that are actually opening up because there's some things that limit, right? So, for example, the pandemic has limited us to person-to-person interaction, but it's also opening up the amazing world of internet, which makes travel at the click of a button. Suddenly, you're giving a talk in the US, in the UAE, and in California. Di ka na kailangang pumunta doon. Things have become cheaper. So these are the opportunities that we see, and the thing lang is, are our goals aligned to the social context? Are our goals aligned to the problems that people are feeling right now? So if we are able to design our goals to meet the needs of people, then those wealth goals, those strategies in our companies, in our businesses, it's about really relevance and pivoting our message para ma-gets ng mga tao, makuha nila.
And I like what you said about, really having this, parang this is your map. Parang this is your map for the year or for the next 5 years. Kasi yes, because of the internet, okay, things have opened up. And then there are a lot of people who are also connecting with each other, diba? And sometimes, diba, sa sobrang daming kumukonect sa'yo, it can be also, diba, draining. Kasi parang you've set to do this, tapos may interesting dito sa kabila, may interesting dito sa kabila. So you can get distracted. So it's better to have your own map so that you also have a reason to decide to decline certain invitations. Kasi hindi lahat yan sasalihan mo. Mahirap yan. Mahagard ka dyan.
That's right. That's true. And in fact, this is my favorite Chinese proverb. If you chase two rabbits, you catch no rabbit at all, right? So it's I talk a lot to people who are very multi-passionate, and they want to make time for this sideline, for this passion project, and they have their main work, right? And they just like spread their selves and their time too thinly. And at the end of the year, they're just collecting a lot of unfinished projects, unfinished. For example, you start to write a book, then you don't get to finish writing that book because you're busy with other things. The only reason why I was able to finish two books is because I really just said no to a lot of other things that would distract me from finishing that book project. So I have to say no to some clients who would have earned a good income for the book that would earn bigger income. So I think it's about patience. It's about being having strategic decisions. When things are present, not everything that's presented to you are opportunities. It can be, as you said, it can be distractions. And I think it is wise also to have social media schedule. Okay,
Yeah.
I see a lot of friends do that. They're just doing social media an hour in a day. At a certain time, they answer all their emails and they answer all their texts, and they can live the rest of their lives. Some naman are basing their business on the internet, so that's a different story. So you see, it's really about focus, choosing to devote more time on this one thing or two things, or a few things in a year, so that you can say at the end of the year, oh, I have accomplished something significant in my life.
That's correct. Kasi I noticed it also. Kasi like for me, when I started actually on my journey, being a coach, okay, so I had to create a name for myself. I was able to find a niche somewhere, not actually mainstream here. Like you, sa Saudi Arabia, sa Middle East, okay? And then there will be kasi, and because I created that niche, that cake, parang I just developed a map on how to push my career in communication coaching further, parang ganun. And then it became my map. And then may mga times kasi makapansin ng tao, parang selective ako, or I decline certain invitations. It's because I'm busy doing something. Because I also develop my own curriculum. I write actually most of my lessons. So, yun. So, I need to devote time for that. Yun lang. Okay. But otherwise, okay, people here in Asia Shouts and Whispers, when you ask a question about HR, you can actually PM me anytime. Walang problema dyan.
All right, that's awesome. That's right. Time is something that you can't get back. You can't recover time, and we get older each year. It's your birthday, but of course, it's really what we decide to do in the new year of our life. Which part of our health, wealth, and relationships can we streamline more, or can we focus on more, so that we can experience more? As I would say to a lot of my coaches, go deeper, not wider. No, kasi if you go wider, it's okay. You become a generalist. You know a lot of things, but no one can tell you that you're an expert on something, because you know so many other things. But no one can say, oh, magaling ka dyan. No? So if you go deeper, then someone would say, yan, magaling ka dyan. Kasi you went into the subject matter, the topic, you narrowed it down, you niched yourself. And as the marketers would say, the niches are in the riches. Or it's baliktad, the riches are in the niches. I think the time for generalists was good for the 90s and the early 2000s, but suddenly the specialist nag-rise up na. No? Even in the social media marketing world, no? If you're the funnel guy, then people go to you for funnels. If you are the live person, or you're the memberships guy, So you gotta corner a certain you gotta be a category king. That's what I heard. You gotta be
Yeah.
you gotta be a category king. So if you're the IELTS queen, so be it, right? So something like that.
Actually, I'm the parang kasi I'll tell you why I actually specialize in it. I like taking tests. I don't
Oh,
know,
okay.
when there's a test, I, like to take it. And then, I would even in high school, even in grade school, I would like to take tests. And then, ang gagawin ko lang, parang easy lang sa akin siya. And then afterwards, okay, this is what happened, okay? Bata pa lang ako, I was like earning from it. I would actually do the term papers of my classmates, and I also would tutor them. So, yun yung may racket ako kasi I don't know. I wanted to try out, 'di ba? Earn my own allowance. But I did have my mom and dad gave me an allowance, okay? But gusto ko lang, I wanted to earn my own money. So, that's why I even until now I like to take tests, and I like to break down tests and then see how you could score higher. Parang that's what I do.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a very narrowed down, unique ability and passion that you have there,
Well,
Chris.
Kirby,
And
I'm such a nerd, okay?
okay, okay, you said it. I didn't say it. I didn't say the word. So yeah, well, you can. I don't know of any other person who said that I love taking tests. Okay,
Uh, it's
so
easy, right? I don't know. It's easy for me, and I like to parang analyze things, and so it's something that I do to distress. So yun,
oh
so I decided, why don't I earn a living from it? So yun lang. Okay, so that was just my simple, and it's actually simple and hairy at the same time.
yeah, and I think a lot of people are just kind of shy in admitting some of their passions that are unique to themselves, and others might find it weird. But actually, if that passion is profitable, it can serve a certain market that hate it. Like a lot of people would say, I hate math. And if you love math, then man, you can be a math tutor, or you can create a website that just does integral calculus or something. So
Well, oh,
yeah, there's like a passion, and that passion can be connected to some profitability. That's great. And if it's unique, even if it's weird, but it's helping people pass a bigger exam that can lead them to the goals of the dreams that they have in their life. That's great.
no, kasi my inspiration, Adam Sandler, the actor and director or producer, okay? Most of his stories are actually simple, and it's just like, ordinary stories, but he just puts in like his own comedic flavor into it. So I guess, kasi the way I attack my personal goal setting, parang I just try to look at what's simple for me to do. Okay, kasi medyo tamad din akong tao, 'di ba? Nag-admit na tamad. Pero I want it kasi least effort, pero may effect na medium effect, okay? So yun yung palaging that's what I always want to achieve. Okay, so I was thinking, what could I do that's like almost second nature? Okay? Yung parang kahit wala kang tulog, kahit pagod ka, kahit may sakit ka, what can you do? Okay? That walang effort sa'yo. Okay. So that's how I attacked mine. And then yun nga, I found out, yeah, I'm such a nerd. So in fact, I actually madami pa akong trivia na alam, pati chemistry and physics, because I was such a nerd in high school. My highest subject was physics, actually. So yun.
Oh, your seatmate was so blessed. So, swerte naman
Actually,
seatmate mo.
madamot ako noon kasi ang
Okay.
ginagawa ko, pag pag kinokopyahan ako, minsan, nako, ang sasabihin ko, you have to pay me a fee so that ay papakopyahin kita.
Oh, so the entrepreneurial
Uh,
nerd. Okay.
Oo, diba? Okay, so Ken, ikaw, ano ang mo? What was your vision for yourself?
Sa akin, generally, dati, parang, Ang lawak eh. Ang
Uh,
lawak, ang daming pwedeng i-pursue. Sa ngayon, I'm looking at it parang one step at a time lang. Parang I get to help people that
mhm.
especially reach out to me. Pero I've really decided to become a coach na talaga. Starting mga 2015. Ito na nag-decide na ako na ito na yung gagawin ko up till I grow old and die. Yun na yun. Helping people, working with them, helping them actually reach from point A to point B. Developing them with, giving them tools that they could work with to actually get more results. So I think we're all on the same boat. I mean, we get
Mm.
to inspire, motivate, diba? Lead people to actually where they want to go. And we're in the right circles. Yeah.
So you connect with the right people, and then you get influenced with by the right people.
Yeah.
So ito, what can you say, Kirby, about do people approach you and Kirby, can you be my mentor? So how do you react to that?
Yeah, mostly the people who, I heard this from Russell Brunson, someone who I listened to in on podcasts, and he said like when we were young, we were asked like, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? We're always asked that, but he said like, why not shift it to, who do you want to serve when you grow up? Who do you want to serve when you grow up? And they end up like serving content creators, basically people who have a life-changing message but want to make a living out of it. So I call them passion builders. So these are the people that I coach, that I mentor, and it's just basing on what I have achieved so far in my journey. For example, people who come to me, Curbs, how did you write your book? How did you publish your book? And I tend to like mentor them towards that. Then they would ask like, Curb, how did you come up with your personal brand, the Fired Up Life? It seems like 3 years you've been talking a lot about these things, and how did you find that one message that you could anchor your life on? And if Ken wants to be a coach for the rest of his life, for me, I want to talk about the Fired Up Life for the rest of my life. It's
Mhm.
gonna be my life's work, and I'm just happy that I found that at my age right now, and I'm
Mhm.
40, I'm 43, and I've got like 30 to 35 more years to go with my life.
Mhm.
And if I can go deeper and deeper into that subject matter, and in fact I'm studying about it, like I'm doing
Mhm.
some studies. I'm trying to finish my studies in the Ateneo, and yeah, and I just coach them. It really depends on what I have experienced so far. I don't give guidance on certain things that I haven't experienced myself.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if I am not able to coach this person because it's not in my realm of
Oh.
expertise, I tell them, hey, go to this person. He can help you better in that matter. So yeah, and I love serving the people that I mentor. In a sense, it's not really a normal mentor mentee relationship.
Yes.
It's like, hey Curbs, can you help me out in this? Then
Uh,
suddenly we're communicating, we're having Zoom meetings, and you offer an online course, you offer a weekly mentoring program. Then those things evolve from the conversations we have, from the people we help that you know come for our advice.
so this is like it's really important because going back to having your goals, okay? Because having your goals, you'll have your map, and then if you have your map, you know who to connect with or what establishment to connect to. Like if you want to have your to further studies, okay, get your master's degree, your doctorate, diba? So it really goes it really boils down to having these steps, okay? Vision, goals, map, and then the means, okay, that you will achieve these goals, okay, whether you connect to a person, get a mentor, or just study. Yun.
Yes, and I think, Chris, the fastest way is to really get a coach.
Mhm.
Oh man, like, but you have to be discerning which coach you should get. So
Match
get a
kayo dapat. I mean,
oh
it's the
match.
same. The topic is like he's an authority in the topic. He
Yeah,
experienced it, di ba?
basically the best coach you can get is to get the one that you would want to become.
Yeah,
Okay.
agree.
Yeah.
Alignment.
So alignment, and of course you have to like the values. Tingnan mo naman, no? If you're okay with your values, if you're aligned with it, and you like the person, basically it's easy to follow. Kunwari, there's like a lot of authors in certain fields, diba?
Mm-hmm.
But there's like certain authors that we just really love reading about them because their
Mm-hmm.
language, the way they communicate is just so easier. Pero pag binasa ng iba, parang nahihirapan silang basahin yung author na yon. Pero ikaw, akmang-akma yung author. So what my friend said, hey Curbs, if you like that author and he's an expert in that subject matter, collect his books because your way of understanding is better. Of course, it's good to have different perspectives and stuff, but collect more of that one that is compatible to you. The same way, choosing a mentor, stick with that person as long as that mentor is also producing results that
Mm-hmm.
you like. Okay, so it's easy kasi din to teach things that you haven't actually have results from of.
Yes.
'Di ba? Madali lang kasi you read books, and what one movie said, you just have to be one chapter ahead to teach something to another one. So
Yeah.
but that's in theory, but you have to like show that you're doing the stuff, and then the people will come. And I want to do what you're doing. I want to achieve what you have just achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And coach is the fastest way to do it. And it can be a personal coach that you hire, or it can be a series of podcasts that you really like listening to, and you
Yes.
get energized by these people who have the same values and goals as you.
Yes. So you find somebody talaga that matches you. Yung word na naman natin is match. Okay. Kasi a lot of people, they go into this mentoring programs. When you go into mentoring programs, okay, like are parang sponsored by communities, you also have to ask the right questions. Okay, what is this about? Okay, how do you mentor? What are your processes, right? And then it's not really the results, okay? Because if the processes are not aligned with you, kasi like for example, mahihirapan ka mag-attend kasi ano siya, um, well, kailangan siya at a certain time, okay, and then you're working at that time, hindi rin siya match sa'yo. So, find something that really matches your lifestyle and your goals, okay?
That's
So, Ken, do you have anything to add with that, finding a mentor?
Yeah, yun lang, alignment. Kasi I get to notice most coaches right now offer, ito yung mga nakita natin, no? Offer discovery calls.
Mm-mm.
Why? It's for them to actually check if the client is aligned with them. I 100% agree with what Kirby said. I mean, if there's no alignment, ako I connect with other coaches eh. Why? Kung hindi ko nakita na iba yung skill set na hinahanap niya na wala sa akin, I connect them to the specific coaches na could really help them 100%, 110%. Kaya pansin natin, all of us as coaches and trainers, 'di ba? We're also friends with other trainers and coaches and specialists. So for example,
Mm-mm.
mga psychiatrists, psychologists, 'di ba? Even lawyers, so that when people approach us, we could easily direct them to the people that could greatly help them get the results that they need. So, yun yung nakita ko. Discovery calls, yung nakita ko ngayon, para at least pag may alignment, tuloy yung pwedeng coaching or mentoring. Pero kung hindi, at least, oy, I could refer you to this person, ganun. Ganun yung nakikita ko ngayon. So, yeah, that's, yun lang. Alignment is very, very important. Mm-mm.
I'll ask Kirby, okay, because a lot of parents also ask me questions. Okay, so what are essential skills that you can try to develop in your children?
I think the essential skills are the things that we are frustrated that we weren't taught in school. You know those, Chris, right?
Mhm.
So, for example, handling frustration. Okay,
Mm.
so in school we're just so trained to hate failure. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
Because in school I was raised kasi, or I was trained that we have to have a certain grade point average.
Yes,
So
and
that,
that mindset would, when you go out into the real world, you will experience some failure. You would experience some setbacks and some rejection. And I think while it's good to aim for a summa cum laude and stuff, nothing really wrong with it. But it's like the parents have to orient the kids that, this is what the real world is. The failure is part of the process, and don't get disheartened, and be strong in these things, right? So yeah, a lot of it is experience growing up. Normally you get all these heartbreaks and heartaches too, but that's one essential skill. One another thing that I really like to see in my kids is to have that entrepreneurial spirit. Nothing wrong with applying for work and job, but maybe just having that mindset that I could build something one day from my own ideas and from my own expertise. And in fact, I'm telling my son, hey, dude, uh, by 21, you have to build something up, because we're in the internet age. It's not like in the
mhm,
90s that we didn't have a choice. We couldn't really make money if we weren't qualified on these certain things. But you see the 16-year-old millionaire kid who's like on YouTube. You see what he's doing. It's just like doing e-commerce, selling toys and stuff. You see this 6-year-old YouTuber just
mhm.
doing toy reviews, and they look at their house. So I told him that our context is different from yours. So you know it better, but at least have that entrepreneurial option. No, I'm not saying, because entrepreneurship is very hard, and it may or not be the path for you, but at least to consider that as one of the paths that can probably make you happy as well. So those things. And yesterday I just had the tax talk with my son,
Mm,
right? Because
okay.
he sees me preparing my reports and stuff, and
Uh,
issuing a lot of receipts, and he was just asking and asking about where the taxes go. Why don't they have taxes in their country, and all this stuff. And I love the questions, because I also know the answers, because they can be googled. It's,
mm,
it's also like we're not dumbfounded anymore like before. Just tell them, just go to the library and research. We can actually google the answers for them. So I think those things, because if it's covered by the school, then well and good. But if you are able to identify certain things that you are just realizing now, that you wish you learned in school and you didn't, and you can reinforce that in your children. But here's the most important part: values, home values that you believe in. Now there's like a endless list of values, but if your son or daughter can already identify core values at an early age, then
mm.
hindi na mahirap sa kanya to make certain decisions paglaki niya. So those things. And I'm not saying that my kids are still very young, second year high
Yes.
school pa
Mm.
lang, and they're growing up. These are my wish lists. But the best way to really reinforce values in them, and to instill lessons in them, is what you do at home. Like as they say, it's easy to give them a sermon, but to actually see what if you're doing what you're telling them. So that's the bigger challenge.
Okay, thank you, Kirby. I just asked you because a lot of parents have been focused on also, well, which is a good thing. Okay, developing communication skills in their
Yeah.
children, which is like a good skill to have. Also, yung English level nila should be at a certain level, which is good. But these things like values, entrepreneurship, okay, or spirit, and then being able to handle failure. Kasi I'll tell you, even if you're a home-based freelancer, okay, you'll be also handling a lot of rejections, okay, when you close deals, etc. So I'll ask Benj. Benj, as a professor, okay, what kinds of skills are you developing in your students?
Okay. For me, The skills I'm developing in my students, for one, math. Ito math, communication, and information. So communication really is the gateway to knowledge. You want to know more, you want to be helped in your career, you want to help somebody in their careers, communication is key. You'll never grow tired of it. It never goes out of style. Tapos math. Math is the bane of many Filipino students. Maraming lumilipat ng kurso because ayaw nila ng math. Ayaw nila ng math of money pero gusto ng money. Ayaw nila ng math of making decisions o ng statistics, but they always want to make good decisions. So being knowledgeable about numbers and ways with numbers is important. So math is an important skill. Tapos next is information. So in the information age, kailangan maging aware what is true and real, what is doable and good from the apparent good. We need to be informed, and we need to know how we're going to inform ourselves over time. Dahil maraming nadadala sa shortcuts of information, like basahin lang natin sa very informative memes. Pero of course that doesn't work. That's not good advice. And also, if I may speak about mentoring. Ako kasi this second semester, meron akong mga practicum students under me. So paano kami magpa-practicum, hindi pwedeng lumabas. So we shifted our technique in practicum by inculcating them business experiences or business and technology experiences. So I'll have mentees under me. Ang hiling ko sa mga students, whether they are bachelor students or graduate school students, wag i-echapwera ang mga professors. So we are not just givers or downloaders of knowledge. Maigi yung nagkakausap tayo, even if it's anything under the sun. So it's very important that for students or learners, mentees, to make the most out of their mentors, to always include them in the boat. So sabi nga ni Kirby, we could all use good goal setting, visions, but you'd get there faster kung meron kang coach. So this second sem, I get that privilege of being a mentor to the next crop of IT graduates na sana magse-serve din sa sector ng HR. Yun.
Well, it's important to have those set of skills, Benj, especially technical skills and also math skills. Alam mo kasi I was often asked, ano yung dapat aralin ng mga bata ngayon? I think that language and math, okay, and science, okay, they all have their benefits, okay. So languages, it starts from there because it gives you also speaking and communicating. Starts from analyzing a situation and then being able to tailor fit yung message na akma for the situation. Diba? So, kasi pag hindi nagma-match yung message mo or even your style to your audience or to the situation, it can boomerang. And also math skills and science skills kasi analysis yan and critical thinking. So iba-iba lang yung dimension, okay? But all these subjects teaches you analytical skills. Okay, so it depends lang kung ano yung klaseng context ang paggagamitan. Okay, so with math skills kasi, you compute, okay? And then there are certain times you measure and then you have to create something and you need measurements for that. For science naman, if you want to parang invent things, you have to be knowledgeable with mga physics theories, chemistry theories, okay, so yun. So it really depends, okay, kung ano ang context.
Yeah.
Anyway, for IT, okay, what can you say about IT? Okay, so I think that with the pandemic, you need IT more because people have worked remotely.
Yeah, about IT, what our students or our learners, kahit yung mga out of college na, we're all lifelong learners. So what are the media that gets messages across? So yan yung kailangan na um, matutunan, like it's a 21st century skill na na-accelerate ng pandemic eh. So what are the tools available, and also assess your needs. Assess your needs to communicate. And what are tapos syempre yung how to search. Back in the day kasi inabutan ko yung searching na kailangan there is a sort of a logic expression dun sa pagsa-search sa search bar. Eh ngayon kasi naka-AI na, but still kailangan malaman ng nung taong nagsasaliksik yung um, ano ba yung talagang tamang pagtanong to get what we needed to know. So the art of querying, that to me is a 21st century skill. Kumbaga with it a lot of things will follow eh. So yun, for business people, professionals, yung mga taong sabihin natin hindi naman talaga gumraduate sa mga IT school or IT courses, o kaya matagal na since they graduated, we need to refresh ourselves on what is the current tech, especially tech that gets messages across,
Mhm.
that brings people together kahit they are far apart. And if I may add also another 21st century skill na kailangan natin matutunan to help us achieve our goals is how one thing is related to another. So yes, you mentioned analytical skills, analysis kasi is yung pagtukoy ng anong relation ng ginagawa ko to sa ginagawa ng isang department, o kaya is there a hierarchical relationship between me and the others within an organization. So yun yung nagtatay ng data na nagfo-flow tsaka yung processes na nagfo-flow sa isang organization. So yun, I guess
So,
that's quite a lot.
that's quite a lot. So I guess as we move forward, okay, things are going to be more competitive, and it's going to be a little bit cutthroat kasi nga ang daming factors involved, and also ang daming mga pressures. Okay, so we need to be adaptable and agile. And I guess pagdating ng 22nd century, okay, uh, a lot of people would be needing these skills. Okay, so analytical skills, integrative skills, IT skills, and being able to also be adept with numbers. Pero ayan sa akin, importante rin, values. Kasi, you can do a lot with with these bodies of knowledge. Pero yun nga that's the difference between creating a weapon of mass distraction and creating something that will benefit mankind, diba?
Yeah,
Values.
values never goes out of style.
So anyway, thanks Bench, okay, for
Yep.
giving your insights. So I'll go back to Kirby. So I think that hindi pa rin natitigil ang pag-contact sa'yo ng mga corporate clients mo. And I think you're asked to give motivational talks. But as a motivational speaker, what can you tell our HR practitioners? How do we keep our employees engaged during this pandemic?
Yeah, I think there should be a regular way to motivate them, like a schedule, if you must. That you would say that if you do this frequently, let's just say a Monday morning talk from a motivational speaker, because Monday people are, oh man, or they're like having the Monday blues and stuff, right? Something that is regular. It can be twice a month, something that they would feel that they are growing. Because one thing that would bring people outside, or they would quit, they would say, hindi na ako nag-grow dito. No? And if HR can address that growth need for the person, that can really compensate also for the need for more money in their lives. But if they feel like they're growing, they're learning new skills, they're actually becoming more motivated there, and they find they can align their values to the company values, then I think that's one. So having regularity of people that can motivate them, third party. That's why the motivational speaking industry exists, because sometimes the same message said by another person can bear a lot of impact because of less familiarity. A fresh way of saying things is something very hopeful. And a lot of companies, when I talk to them, I ask them what they need. I ask them, what do you really want to tell your employees? And I just say it in my own unique way. And I just let them have it checked. And if it aligns, then we're good. We can be partners in this certain endeavor. Right now, ang daming nagko-contact sa akin, Chris, for their kick-off virtual events. Kasi they have to rally their employees, especially sales teams. They have to start the year right. Kasi yung momentum of starting things right in January or first quarter is very important for the rest of the quarter. It's like a basketball game. A lot of I like basketball, but napaka-crucial yung first quarter. To win the first quarter can be decisive to win the rest of the game. So that's where biglang may mga nagko-contact sa akin. And
How can they contact you?
They can just message me through Facebook. That's the easiest and fastest. Kirby Llaban, Fired Up Life. And surprisingly, nag-change na yung way of communicating. Okay, emails are good. Yes, that's the really professional way of doing it. But I do get a lot of inquiries right now through Facebook Messenger. Okay, so yeah, you can go as easy. So just type Kirby Llaban, Fired Up Life, and they can just ask if it's the right fit. If my message is the right fit for them, then we're good, right? And of course, my email is simply kirbylyaban@gmail.com. That's the easiest.
Okay, so Kirby is actually a message away here on Facebook. So you can contact him through PM. Oo nga, kasi yung mga tao, message lang, di ba? Makikita mo pa parang somebody's sending you a message request, okay, kung hindi mo kilala. So, and then they can also email you. And then there you have a website, right? Do you have a website?
kirbylyaban.com, and you can see what I'm doing there for companies as well.
Yes. So anyhow, okay, so Kirby, okay, what will you be busy with in the next days?
As I mentioned, kick-off events for companies, both recorded and live. So those are my hands are full with that. Second, I'm actually very busy setting up my membership website. It's called Fired Up University. And I realized that recurring income and being available more to the coachees is very is mutually beneficial for the coachees and the coach, right? So it's about that's my second that's my big thing, my big goal this year, to set up my membership site, okay, and have people coming in on a monthly basis, and I teach them on a monthly basis as well. So it's firedupu.com, but it's not yet up. It's gonna be up maybe February, sometime February. So that's my one thing I'm busy about. And my third book is actually about fire up your message. So I'm currently rewriting it kasi nasulat ko na siya, Chris. But things move so fast. Okay.
May mga developments pa, di ba?
I was about to publish it around June last year. Then March, pandemic happened, and so I said my message has changed. So it's about helping people build their personal brand and making a living out of the message that they believe can change and transform people's lives. So that's fire up your message.
So again, okay, you can just contact us. Okay, we'll help you, we'll support you in releasing information about it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, how about Ken? What are you busy with?
Oh, Medyo madami-dami. As of right now, I'm busy with working with a small group of traders. We call it Matapang Signals Group. We trade daily cryptocurrency. So dun yung daily yun. Pero siguro upcoming ko, uh, I share my screen siguro
Oh,
for
yes, please.
sige. Here's one. So hypnotic communications masterclass is up. Okay, so we get to share our secrets in regards to neurolinguistic programming, manipulation, um, conversational hypnosis, and hypnotic language. And this can be applied, of course, for sales, marketing, and of course, therapy. Kasi most of us na mentors dito sa class na to are hypnotherapists and NLP practitioners. So this would be for 5 sessions. So February yan, sa February. Tapos, next naman, February, this is one. I'm working with Arriva again, and I'm gonna talk about persuasion sa February 18 naman to. So you could message me if you're interested or your company is interested also. And last but not the least, of course, we're doing the NLP certification program. Sana yan? Again, hindi ko mahanap yung poster eh. Yeah, okay lang. So, ayun, March, coming up March, if you're interested to become an NLP practitioner, let me know. Let me or Christina know so that we could probably assist you. This would be a 16-day program. So probably this would be for the whole of March. Okay, so a total of 64 hours for this NLP practitioner certification program. So ayun. Yeah.
And Benj, what will you be busy?
Okay, for this week, it would be enrollment week for our college, second semester. So St. Paul University, Quezon City is accepting um, college students from last sem and even those who are returning because nag-break during the ECQ. And we are accepting also new applicants still for both our um, bachelor's degree programs and our master's degree programs. So we have a Master of Business Administration, and one of the majors is HRD, by the way. And there is also a bachelor's degree in business administration. One of the majors is HRD. And then the other master's program is Master of Arts in Psychology. For the IT, in this second sem, I'll be teaching project management and also practicum, which takes the place of, so it will be an online, mostly online practicum, which takes the place of physical OJT. Dahil kasi bawal pa. But we look forward to new developments coming from our IETF. And then, what else? Uh, so far, that's it. And we don't know yet what's in store for the other activities. So medyo short-term planning. But I would like to personally thank Mr. Kirby Llaban, and maybe one of these days would look you up to in the university.
Sure, sir.
So yun.
Thank you.
Okay. Sige, thank
Okay,
you.
so yes, thanks, Benj and Ken and Kirby. So today, okay, so we talked about personal goal setting, and then we defined to you the steps into making them more effective and realizable. So now that you have the tool, okay, we hope that you are able to apply it, okay, as you create a better year for you. So for HR shouts, okay, so we will continue with our FP lives, and for our viewers, we invite you to keep sending us PMs, okay? And then also you can post, okay, on topics that you would want us to discuss and delve on. Okay, so yon. So that way, di ba, we know what you want to learn about, okay? And then also we can try to connect with the expert, or maybe it's among the moderators of HR Shouts and Whispers already. And for next week, we will talk about the myths, the BPO myths debunked. Okay, so that's with Mr. JT Baroma, and that will be next Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Okay, so bye for now.
Bye, Chris, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to me. Okay.
Good night, Kirby, Benj. Nice seeing you, ha?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Sorry,
Okay,
walang
guys.
pangalan.
Okay, be safe. Okay. Nice talk. Bye-bye.